Dangerously Incompetent's review of the T110E5, USA's Tier 10 heavy tank, the non-auto-loading one. Well, let's start with the gun. Now, that's quite a doozy. It has good penetration, reasonable damage, although it's the lowest damage of any of the Tier 10 heavies, and there are medium tanks, Tier 10 medium tanks, that have a higher alpha damage, but everything else is good. Good accuracy, low aiming time, good decent race and fire, good penetration. So it's a very nice gun to play with. One slight downside with it, as a premium round, it gets high explosive anti-tank. Now, high heat is good when you're trying to go through thick pieces of armour, say on an E100, if you can get a perpendicular shot, get their armour flat to you, because heat doesn't do so well when the armour's angled, and it does even worse when it's spaced armour. So remember that when you suddenly find you need a bit more punch to get through the enemy's armour. If it's angled or it's spaced, heat isn't going to help. Speed-wise, it's quite fast. It's faster than most of the other Tier 10 heavies, but it's not as fast as a medium. And its reverse is really slow. Well, I found it really slow for such a fast tank. -12 where I believe it is, and that's certainly not enough to get out of the way when artillery's raining shells on you. Armour wise, see my armour review, but also as a quick, great on the front. It's not good enough to bounce shots off the Tier 10s with the really big caliber guns. They can penetrate things like your mantlet with regular ammo if you're just facing them on the front. Everything else, it's all nice and rounded and spangy, lovely. Even the lower hull is quite spangy. But like many American heavies, on the side it's really weak. Really weak. So weak, in fact, anything more than that on your angling and your days are numbered, because they can shoot this part here, they can shoot going through the side here, even at sharp angles. It's only there, so your tracks are covering everything. And that's the dominating part of this tank, its armour. Good on the front, weak on the side. That dominates everything you need to do, because you've got to hide your sides, and that leads to several problems. Firstly, I found I was ending up moving forwards and backwards only, so getting behind cover to actually angling my tank, but getting hard cover over this part, over my sides, and then pointing my turret straight at me. If the enemy is where your point of view is, our point of view is, turret's facing me, hard cover for the tracks. This front is lovely and spangy in that position. It's a great position to be in, but to get there I was moving forwards and backwards and not turning much, which artillery likes, tanks that don't change direction, remember that. And getting into that position can be quite difficult, but once you're there, and as long as no one winkles you out, that means no artillery shooting you, no bunch of mediums flanking you. You're with your turret straight at the enemy, nice and bouncy. Your front of your top of your hull, very nice and bouncy. I've managed to get 5,500 damage blocked by armour doing that. And it's the way to go. But to stay in that sort of position, the enemy has to oblige you. No artillery shooting at you while you're staying in that position. And any bunch of mediums that sees you in that position, they're either going to leave, if they're sensible, they're going to leave, or they're going to rush you, and they're going to take one hit from your gun. And remember, you don't have a big, huge alpha. And then they ran your flank, zoom, 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 and or even worse, well, your rear flank, rear. You're not long for this world when they rush you, and you're not fast enough to get away from mediums. Let's have a look at some of the other stats. Hit points, meh. Top speed, good for a heavy. It's just about good enough to be flexible and travel from one side of the map to the other, but it's not really a breakthrough tank in terms of speed. You can keep up with mediums if they're ducking and diving and weaving around, and that's one of the good things you can do with this tank. Follow up the mediums and just pound anything they come up against. Traverse is pretty good. Turret traverse is also good. Well, it's good enough. What else? Gun elevation, yes, -8 is pretty good, and given the slopiness of your tank, going on crests is quite a viable thing to do. Top speed, not so great. View range is 400. It's fine. 100% commander, and you're almost up against the view range limit, so I didn't bother with extra viewy bits. Equipment wise, well, vertical stabilizers absolutely must have it, because you can. Large caliber gun rammer just to speed up the shooting, and I went for vents just for the all-roundedness of it. Other things you could usefully stick in there. Spool liner might be worth thinking about if you get hit by artillery a lot, because the sides and rear are so weak. Any splashing around there and you've got problems. Enhanced gun lane drive, doesn't really need it. Its initial accuracy of the gun is very good. Camouflage, no, not really. Skills wise, I had been going with, well, Brothers in Arms, Sixth Sense, absolute must, and then Snapshot and Smooth Ride, so I can shoot on the move. I had been going with Camouflage up to this point, and it hasn't worked so well, because I've seen other reviews and they're saying, oh, it works well at medium range. Well, it does, because at medium range it's much harder for them to hit any of your weak spots or hit you right where your armor's flat. But it's very difficult to stay at that range, because the mediums won't let you stay at that range. So, and the tech tree, the line it's on, let's see, here we go. T110 at the top, then M1, M103, T32, T29. The lower ones aren't very good. Medium can be fun. M2 medium can be fun. These two tanks are a bit oddball and work quite well. But the cream of the line is the T29. That's the sweet spot as far as I'm concerned. If you get to the T29 and find you're loving it there, I'll keep your crew on that. Keep it to, you can use it as a training tank and a cash earning tank. So, overall, what does this tank get in the Dangerously Incompetent rating? It gets, it's okay. It's not great, but you could do a lot worse. In recapping, great frontal armour, nice gun, horrible side armour. Well, good luck in getting to this tank, and good luck if you decide to play it.